we're going to move
now,
on.
this is what I was going to bring up. This is what I was going to bring up.
Go on.
I called a good friend of mine, Mr. Dave Brown, who used to be the announcer on Channel 5 with Lance Russell. And together, I thought they were a great team. They were a laid-back team, but they were very, very good. So I texted him and I says, Dave, I got a question for you. What was the viewership or the share number that Memphis Wrestling used to have on Saturday morning at 11 to 12:30? And he texted me back and he says, we sometimes did an 80 share of the market. And what a share means of all the TVs in use at the time were tuned in to Channel 5 Wrestling. And I have heard numbers uppers of 300,000 to 400,000 just watching that local show. So I'm thinking if 300,000 watched, just 300,000 was watching the Memphis tape, and AEW on a Saturday night at 8 o'clock, they're doing right under 500. I don't know. And I know the times are different. I know your choices they were a lot less in those days, but I think Memphis just had a good show and they told a lot of good stories. But was the wrestling as good on Channel 5 as it was in AEW? No, but hell no. Because the people didn't watch it for the great wrestling moves. Mm-hmm. They watched it because of the story. And if Tony Khan can just get one thing better, tell a story and keep telling the story for an arc of 3 to 5 weeks. And then if he sees if it's taken off, go farther with it. What Tony does, he doesn't, he'll do it and they'll have a match or two on TV, then it's over. Yeah, they had great matches. They had great moves, but would any of those moves entice a viewer to buy a ticket?
If you don't care about the person, why would you care about the moves they're doing? You need to make the viewer care about the person first, then do the moves.
Tell the story. Because, and Jarrett, he's gone now, but he used to say, if they're personal and you can make the fans at home feel like they're personal, they can actually put themselves into the positions or the position of the performers, and that's when you got money. But you got to touch them here. You got to do something here. Mm-hmm. You touch them there, you got them. I don't care if it's too little. You can't say this word anymore. Midgets. You can't say that word. You got to call height disadvantaged people. But if you had two midgets wrestling and they had an angle, which since I brought that up, for what reason, I don't know. I've never seen an angle between two midgets. I've never seen it. And I wonder why. And I tell you why, because, the midgets would come through like once a year, then they're gone. But if you could keep them a little more, tell a little story, and you could draw money with midgets.
This could
believe that? I'm going to get canceled. Oh, he called short people midgets. Oh my God.
Hornswoggle calls himself a midget wrestler.
Does he?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah, but midgets don't give a crap. They don't. I've booked midgets before. They are the worst to book. They get drunk. Oh, they tear hotel rooms up. They get arrested, and they don't give a crap. And they laugh about it like hell the next day. And very few times did they ever go to jail, because when the police came, they wouldn't lock them up. They just tell them, go back in your room and stop it. Calm down.
They'd squeeze through the bars, probably.
Oh, yeah, they were nuts. Those midgets didn't give a shit. and they would laugh about it the next day. And I really like being around those what they call little people, because they're entertaining as hell.
That's the oddest segue we've ever had on this, but I'm happy it happened.
Oh, yeah. What did we segue from? FTR to midgets?
Yes, basically. In a span of 8 minutes, we managed to get from FTR, the guy from FTR waving a gun around, threatening people in traffic, to midget wrestlers.
Well, that's how it was when you used to drive in the cars. Those topics that they've changed by the minute. One guy said, "Oh, that reminds me of something," and then you're off and running on something else. See, the trip only depended. It didn't matter how long the trip was. It was how much you were entertained. So great conversation had a very, very important part in making trips. If you was with someone, they were a good talker, they were entertaining, and we're going to talk about a guy in just a minute, Mr. Terry Funk, who was making a trip with him was like, I don't know, getting a shot of something that could, perk you up, because he was always entertaining and the trip flew by.
I will be asking you about that as well. Speaking of road trips, but I'll just mention this, I'll leave this here and then I will move on, is that I may still go to Wembley. I've not decided, but I'm going to be coming back the same day as well, so it means I won't get back home till about 3 a.m. But I may do it, but... Do you
have a ticket?
Oh, there's still tickets available. I can just buy them same day. They're quite cheap as well. They're trying to fill the stadium, so they've left quite a lot of tickets cheap.
But you may be way up in the nosebleed section.
I'm not bothered. I'm just going for the atmosphere, really, so it's not a problem.
You got binoculars?
I will have to take my glasses, in all seriousness, because then it'll just be like a smudge on the floor.
Listen, I think you owe us and the viewers a courtesy of going to that pay-per-view.
So I could tell the truth of the entire event, you think?
Yeah, you could tell the truth for once.
Yeah. Instead of just pretending to watch it.
And you can actually, from a first-person view, you can actually give you a report on it and be accurate.